Recently, I've had the delightful opportunity to practice what I preach. Twice, I found myself in situations where I did not like the way I looked or felt. So I thought it might be useful for me to share with you the tools I use to dig myself out of that vulnerability hole, in the hope that by sharing both my tools and my vulnerability, you will find it useful to help you when you feel like you're embarrassed. Hi, I'm Hattie Volker from Find Your True Voice, and you're listening to the Courageous Performer podcast, a podcast that teaches you how to feel comfortable and confident in front of any audience. So what can you do when you feel like you've embarrassed yourself or you've been put in a situation that is embarrassing? Let me share with you what happened to me. So there were two situations. The first of which was a couple of weeks ago, I ran my live in-person workshop and I had an absolute ball. It was designed to help people feel more courageous in public, and some people had some amazing breakthrough moments, and we really did some amazing work together with the help of Sophie Brigstock, doing some breath work there as well. And I'd asked people to take some photographs and maybe some videos for sharing on social media, and very kindly they did that, and after the workshop they shared them with me. Now, initially I saw these photos and I thought they were wonderful, and the videos were fantastic. They really captured what was going on in the workshop, what happened and how it felt to be there. Then I asked my lovely niece, my social media coordinator, to put together a video so we could post it. And that's where it started to go wrong, because she did this brilliant video and I watched it, and all I could see was this middle-aged woman prancing about. That's me. And suddenly that inner critical voice kicked in. Because the truth is, it doesn't matter how good you get at this confidence stuff, you still fall into vulnerability holes. Now, you'll get much better at steering around them, and more importantly, you'll get much better at climbing out of them when you do fall in them. But you still fall in them. There is no avoiding feeling vulnerable. Now, before I tell you how I climbed out of this particular vulnerability hole, let me share with you the other story. So yesterday I had a fab day out with my family. We were celebrating my youngest's birthday and he wanted to go Ape, and I love that sort of thing. So we went to Go Ape and we climbed trees and we swung on ropes, and it was brilliant, and we had a picnic and we came back and had cake with my mum and dad, and it was a fabulous day. But on the way home from Go Ape, I realised I'd had loads of notifications from social media, so I thought I'd go and check what was going on. And there was this video, and at first I was like, have I been hacked? Because it was a video of outtakes of a video I had done. And I was like, oh my goodness. And there were comments on there, and I couldn't understand what had happened. And then it slowly dawned on me that my brilliant social media niece had put together a video deliberately of my outtakes. But it took me a while, because there I was, stumbling over my words, umming and ahhing, and she put in these things that I'd said out of context. And there was a whole reel of me not in my polished state. And it made me feel really vulnerable. It was actually genius. And my wonderful niece, knowing me really well, knew that I wouldn't have a problem with this. But for some reason, I did. Because there was that inner critical voice coming in and telling me that I kind of should be ashamed of myself. So, what did I do? What can you do when something like this happens? When you see yourself through a pair of eyes and you don't like what you see, you feel like you've messed up and look stupid. The first thing I did was I sat with that feeling, and it feels horrible. I sat with feeling embarrassed and uncomfortable and ashamed, and I went red. And I felt a bit sick. And I probably had to sit with the video of me at the workshop for longer than the video of me and the outtakes, because I've always had I always used to have a funny relationship with my body. I didn't like my body. I didn't like what it did or how it looked. So that's a space of real vulnerability for me. And it doesn't take much for those old feelings of shame to creep back in. So I sit with that feeling and it feels uncomfortable and I don't want to sit with that feeling, but I acknowledge how I'm feeling and the reason I'm feeling that way. Because that then allows me space to, as Brené Brown would say, tell my shitty story. What is it I'm afraid of? What is making me feel ashamed and embarrassed? Saying out loud, and that helps me fact check my fears. What is it I'm afraid of? What is making me feel ashamed and embarrassed? And that helps me fact check my fears. What do I think people will say and think about me? And how does that impact me? And when you fact check your fears, what you tend to find is that your instant reaction has overblown them. That actually what has happened isn't as bad as you initially think. I then am kind to myself. I'm kind to myself that it's okay to initially feel that embarrassment. It's okay to worry. But then when you fact check it, is it as bad as I think? And when I do this from a place of kindness, I'm more likely to see the reality of things. Because the truth is, these videos show me as myself. And given that's what I teach people how to feel comfortable putting themselves out there as themselves. Then they are genius. I'm teaching people how to love being in front of an audience by loving what they do and really respecting and being kind to themselves. And you can see from those videos, I do love what I do. And I am okay with myself. The mere fact that I'm okay now with putting them out there means that I have come so far from where I was 10 or 15 years ago, or even just 4 or 5 years ago. As I said, what these videos show is the real me, the true me, the authentic me. And I'm okay showing me because I'm okay. I'm not perfect, far from it, but I'm okay. And more than that, showing the real me is what I'm all about. Because if I can show the real imperfect me, then so can you. Because the point is, I've got something I want to share with people. I want to teach people that it's okay to be you. And you have something to share as well. And the more you hide, the more the world misses out on what you have to share. So the steps are, feel the shitty feeling. You want to avoid it. I get that, so do I. But if you sit with that feeling, it's okay. Second, tell your shitty story. Say what you're worried about, what you feel bad about, how awful it is. Because that will allow you then to fact check your fears. And then ask yourself, does it really matter? Is it really as bad as it felt? For me, what really matters is being able to show the real me, being able to put myself out there so that I can give my message without having to perfect myself first. Because if I can be okay with my imperfect self, if I can be okay putting myself out there as imperfect, then you can too. And the truth is, those 2 videos have had more likes and more views than anything I've posted in a very long time, because people don't connect with perfect. They connect with real. I'm Hattie Volker from Find Your True Voice, and you've been listening to the Courageous Performer podcast. If you'd like help getting out there, feeling okay about being yourself, then ping me an email at hattie@findyourtruevoice.co.uk.